Today is February 4th, 2023. My video I did early this morning on the way to work. I pulled off in the side park, started the video, and if you watch, there's cars driving around me. I'm in a park in the middle, basically no, just pull. There's an allotment across the street, but they're following me that much. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, pitch black. And they pull over and said, why sit in the park? So I could do my video and I can have my coffee before I go to work. You watch them drive by me. I'm not on a road. I'm not in a town. On an allotment. Outside of an allotment. In a park across the street down the way. And they pull in and they wait. They think they're funny, they're not. If you notice, I stutter a lot. Because these people will grab you, rape you, torture you. And some videos of it. I was watching some shows this morning, and they're talking about the deep web of people uploading sick stuff like this. And that's where they go. Realize I'm not the only victim. And they were talking about, a lot of the time, the people that kill people is usually the one you're sleeping with. This is not unusual. What is unusual? And it's really not, because if you go on the Department of Justice, and it happens more than what we'd like to be aware of, that FBI agents and police officers, because they're exposed to a high amount of money, and a lot of criminals, that they get involved in it. And until they do a horrific crime, or several, and they get caught, then they get prosecuted. There's pages and pages and pages of them being processed. And that's where it's devastating. That agent that bullied me on the phone while I tried to tell what happened at Huntington Bank, I can't be the first one he badgered. He should have been fired a long time ago for bullying people and obstruction to justice. I had those people. I had Dave, for I have a phone call to make. I had a phone call to make. Okay. And then me getting a flu shot, sitting down on the bench. The guy showing up, I can't believe she's here, and it's the same one as I got her. I stand up, turn my car, he comes up behind me, stab you right here. No, if it wasn't for that security guard, the Pizza Hut waitress, are you just gonna stab her? Get it over with, I won't make it out for that security guard. So I turn my car, and while they're debating if they should stick him, I got away from him, turn the car right into the bank. I'm gonna open an account. Look over, she walks away from him, around, comes up next to me, to the male banker standing next to me. Because the lady banker's waiting on me. Male banker standing off to the side. She comes up to him. I get paid to watch her. He's like, lady, stay out of it. She's like, no, I get paid to watch her. He's like, lady, I mean it. Stay out of it. It won't be worth it. She starts laying her head down on the counter and said, no, I get paid to watch her. And he's like, start screaming at her to stay out of this. And she walks off. And the guy that tried to kidnap me, tried to carjack me, just threatened to knife me, walks off with her too. I look over, he comes around, he walks off with her too. And instantly my phone rings. It's Dave. I put him on hold and I wouldn't let him know he just did it. I was so froze with fear. They had been date raped me. You don't process right afterwards. Because the real Karen would have slipped a note, not call 911, get the police here, get me out of here. Okay? And the drugged up Karen stood there, froze. And I didn't know if they had a gun pointed at me, somebody else ready to knife me. They already had one ready to knife me and one getting paid to stalk me. Realizing the attempt to kidnapping, attempt to carjacking, the follow-on rounding, and the attempt to break in, it was all them. And how stupid was I? Just thinking he was stupid. And now they're here. banker got my account open. He was so mad. The one next to me that told that lady off was so mad he was throwing stuff down on the counter. How dare she? Okay. I see a group of people leaving. I get them roll them. I drive. No, you don't process right afterwards. I literally drove 20 miles. Instead of driving to a police station, I drove 20 miles down to Walmart 62. Oh. Okay. An African American lady spit in my face. Her and her white boyfriend were harassing me. And another guy with black hair, black eyes, and eagle tattoo came up to me. What a shame, and stared at me like a dead animal. I got away from it, and at the end of the driveway, Dave came up. My girlfriend's rich and powerful. Her family owns the place. You won't be able to withstand. I told him, I said, it's not a communist country. Nobody owns the place. And yeah, I took a day or two. A day or two. I cried. I prayed. Dave had abused me our whole marriage. Anytime I made him mad, he'd beat me. And then he'd be sorry. And he'd make it up to me for a year and a half. For a comment, anything, I could horribly beat. And then he'd make it up to me and be sweet. And we never argued, hardly, because I treated him like a king. Made his lunch, laid his clothes out, towel dried him. We made love all the time. And when we did argue, I got beat bad. Horribly beat bad. Realizing if you stood up for yourself, you're going to have major bruises, if not her worse. Not saying I didn't over the years, because I did stand up for myself a few times. But it cost me. And I may have loved him with all my heart. And that's not love. That's control. And we had children. We had grandchildren. And where I doubted over him, I survived his anger. And men like that won't give you when they're done. They won't give you because you're worthless. I had to pray about it. I could never forgive him again. Never forgive him for beating me, hurting me, or any part of this. Where I forgave him for everything in the world for 33 years. There was no forgiveness now. If I forgave him, I died. If I don't make that phone call, I'll die. But if I make that phone call, there's no forgiveness. None. Ever again. For what he did. No more family Christmases. No more family birthdays. Cookouts. The family unit is gone. The life I knew was over. I prayed about it. Picking up that phone and calling the FBI was the hardest decision I ever made. My marriage was already over. And there was no turning back once I picked up that phone. But if I didn't pick up that phone, I would die. So I picked up the phone. Cried to the 1-800 line for about 40 minutes. Of the different attempts where to find people impersonating me, Okay. We'll have an agent call you back. And then I couldn't get out of bed for 3 days because they drugged me up so bad. And then the third day I made myself get up and I don't drink. I don't do drugs. And I'm sitting on the front porch. I'm like, what's wrong? I'm so dizzy. What is wrong with me? I was like, I gotta get air in my face. And I thought, they're here. They're watching me. It's not even safe to leave. So I decided if I'm on a need a walk. I need to do this. I got the lawnmower. I'm going up and down, up and down. They heard. Halfway through, I thought it's there, where they've been leaving threats in the mall that their church was going to kill me. And I called her course Karen will testify for you. I'm scared the way she keeps talking about it. So I went out and I bought her a card, put Will's number in it where he left it in a voicemail. We dropped it off at sales at the mall and went up to Apostolic Church for Barberton. Paul Bamer got in Dave's face. Oh my God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right here. What is that FBI agent doing coming up here with threats on her life? Da 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 da. And I walk off. Dave comes in. Let's go. He threatens my life and swings at me in the vehicle. So I got home from him. I ran from him. Next day, I had to call that agent back. Rivers of tears, and I had already been waking up with giant bruises where they were tape drugging me the whole summer. Okay, and stalking me, I guess, stalking tapes and photoshopping shower scenes. That's what they've bragged and laughed at me, that people fell for all the crazy crap before what they were doing to me. So I call him and I told him what happened. I don't need to make you liar. You confess your lying, I'll put you in jail. I'm like, what? He said, so you're like, was there a camera sitting above you? I don't know. Well, if there's not a camera I can pull and see him come up and say something. He said, I'll put you in jail. Now, was there a camera? I don't know. Stay alert, all right. She was like, fine, whatever. The real Karen would have hung up on the bastard and called the hotline and reported him. The real Karen would have done that. The drugged up Karen did what she was told. Then he's like, what would the FBI help a person like you? Well, they'll kill me. So. But they'll kill me. Please help me. I begged him. The real Karen would have hung up on him. And he's like, so. And then he's like, you give me a real reason. Well, I told him about my brother-in-law, Craig, dying, working for the CIA at the Pentagon under Dick Cheney. Fine, I'll list him for him. He was going to do it anyway. He wanted that money. He was bullying me, demeaning me, so I'd be too scared of him. It's called badgering to Department of Justice 1729. You have to take your statement if they believe you're not and follow through. Or it's obstruction of justice and tampering with evidence. Okay. List me informant, $5,000 a month. Diplomatic immunity. All these things. But if you tell someone unless you're crazy, no one can help you. He can't do that. He was still bullying me because he was going to steal that money. It's called badgering. He embezzled all that money for himself. Huh? Because if he thought I was lying, he couldn't open that case. It'd be fraud. But he opened that case. That's where those officers work at. Are you interested in working Karen around the house? What's that? One of us have to watch her or listen to her every day. Or Karen's will. That's what they call it. Do you know that it had actually told people he liked me? He thought I was pretty. And had men follow me and told people I was his girlfriend. And I never met him. You know, I didn't even believe he was real. When I heard my ex-husband Dave outside threatening Dixie and the baby's life, I Googled where he said he was in the Stark County FBI task force. I Googled it to make sure he was real. Called down there. I said, I'm telling him about Dixie and the baby, and Willie's got a list. I'm working on it. He wasn't working on it. It was his daughter, where Dave, on the third day up there, hit me with a board and pace, ran off the store. It was them in that store that day. Retired Judge Pete's and Uncle Grandpa. Michelle's the agent's daughter. It was Memorial Day weekend, 2018. And they were all up there together. Alex. They were all up there together. And Dave ran into them. And they were in debt to the Gentleman's Club from Florida for drugs and prostitution. And that's why they did all this. 3 days later, they kicked in my door. I start waking up with giant bruises across my chest, my arms, and my legs. And everybody, I'm almost passing out in front of the neighbors. They're coming over to help mow the lawn. My family knows I'm throwing up and I'm losing weight, and everybody thinks I'm working too hard. I worked that hard at Lennox. So why would it be sick now? Exactly. You get little impact bruises, and everybody's seen the giant ones all over my arms, my legs. I look like somebody had been beating me because they said they were doing sick stuff under amnesia drugs. Ketamine, Rufinol, and Profanol. You're sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. It's called needling somebody. In less than 60 seconds, they walk up and jab you. And you're sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. It's popular in nightclubs. My one neighbor got roofied in a bar, told everybody his ass or not, swore at a bunch of people, left, went out to eat, went to the bank, went home, changed his shoes. He didn't know how he got out of the bar. My other coworker went out drinking with a couple friends, and then all of a sudden they said that she started acting happy, going along with everything, left with a group of people they didn't know. She woke up in a puddle pee. They had raped her. She's raising somebody's son she doesn't even know she had sex with. They're sleepwalking. It's not funny to do that to a human being at all. And that agent, how dare he bring his family's problem into my life? Louisville, where I live, there's not even a hotel. It's really tiny. There's drive-through restaurants. There's probably 1 or 2 restaurants. Tiny ones. Most of them are front store restaurants. There's one individual one. But the rest of them are just fast food. Pizza places, Taco Bell, stuff like that. McDonald's. Real tiny little town. We have a post office. I think one little hardware store. The whole place is like 5-7 blocks long. Everything else is houses outside. And one grocery store. A couple gas stations. It's super tiny. We don't even have a hotel. There was a gentleman's club from Florida. They were up here. They had to rent places to stay. And they were here for a couple of years. Everybody's seen them. And they were showing up from places I worked to different towns, following me around, saying that they took care of me. And I thought, why would a gentleman's club from Florida care about me? And where I talked to someone, they said, I know somebody who deals drugs. They said and I told them, what happened to you? And I asked them, they said that they knew that agent was in debt to those drug dealers. And they were willing to come up here and hurt you, or come here and hurt you. And in front of people till he paid them back. They hurt me because he owed drug dealers money. They hurt me. Me. Used me as a scapegoat and a patsy. They hurt me because he owed that money. And until he paid them off, and then they took up enough money to buy a new drug shipment. Now they left. Now they have people watching me, and some of the prostitutes will show up. A gentleman's club from Florida is a gay nightclub that is a strip bar that they do drugs and drink and male prostitution. And that's who's here, and everybody's seen them. And they write where they were from. Hey, why didn't the FBI catch him before this? You have to take someone's statement if you believe it or not. You cannot even insinuate they're lying. You can't. It's illegal. It's badgering. Even the Tuscarora sheriff, I was talking to him. He said you can never tell anybody not to believe somebody or to help them. You get arrested for that. It's obstruction of justice and tampering with evidence. Department of Justice, 1729. You cannot hinder a victim, a witness, or an informant giving a statement. You can't even suggest they're lying. It's 5 to 7 years, at least. So why didn't they get him for bullying people and obstructing justice? Why didn't they find out that he was in it with a gay club? You can't buy prostitutes. Huh? You can't be around drug dealers. Why didn't they monitor him and catch him and fire him before he got to me? None of this would have happened. Do you realize if he would have found somebody honest in that store, when he came hit me with the board and face and asked those people to kill me, they would arrest him. There was a 25 grand hit on my life. And them being in debt, it had been like a miracle walking into them. And that's why they kicked in my door 3 days later while we were out. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to wake up with bruises, almost passing out, throwing up, and not knowing what happened to me. Do I think the agent that picked up my case is funny? Hell no. I lived in Portage County. I called that hotline. I Googled what FBI office is over. It's Akron. Not an FBI task force. In the courthouse at Canton in Stark County. They weren't even over my area. And like Officer Reinhardt said, even Portage County, because there's a retired judge involved as part of this family, they can never work a case against you your whole life. Well, neither can the Stark County FBI. He said it's a conflict of interest. They go to jail. Nobody's ever said anything bad about me. Not even a bad thing. This is where it's rich. It's a whole big scam they made up. A whole big scam. In protected custody, the one set of grandkids where my ex-daughter-in-law just left my son, became friends with Michelle, and they knew the house was being taped because it was her dad running the case, Michelle's dad, that those kids were caught stating they wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa. And then later on to Florida, they were making everything up. And like Florida ratted them out a year later. Of course, it never happened. Of course, it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend, like the Maslin police documented me games of pretend. My whole family spoke highly of me. They're just mean jokes, sick mean jokes, because we're messed up in that shit. You know, I went in Dollar General yesterday. Some lady said, "Isn't that da-da-da?" And we're supposed to say something to her. I said, "No, they made everything up." She's like, "That's not funny." She said, "I know, they told us to knock it off. None of this is funny." I went in Mentor's Clothing yesterday. Some guy and lady came in and said, "I heard people are getting killed over this. None of this is funny. No one's to say anything." There's drive-bys in Florida, and the news is saying they think it's drug related back to Ohio. I went to Jack's Casino on January 6th. There's this big, huge African-American guy with like a red t-shirt. You can tell he's a security guard. He's on the phone. That's the one that church tried to have killed. No, it's not funny what they helped out. And they said Karen's Wells run around saying he taped her before. And no one will help her. Do we have a man to take care of this? And I'm like, oh. See where that guy said that he knew someone that deals drug, and they told him that was that agent owed people drug money. He said there was drug dealers across the state, man. And was saying stuff. I'm like, whoa, I have nothing to do with that. I would never condone anybody getting hurt. I just want them to go to jail. But you think about it, a gay nightclub in Florida coming up here running a major drug scam in the Ohio Mafia area, they are going to be mad. 11 people got shot up in Florida. I was at work and the client had the news on it where they were talking that it was a drive-by shooting. 11 people have been shot up, and they thought it was connected to Ohio with drugs. I'm like, oh my God, they've been saying for over a month they were going to take care of it around me. And they've been saying for over a year they were mad. I kept thinking, why would they be mad? Why do they care? And it's because it's drug turf. It's drug turf. You got it, Ohio Mafia, they leave everybody alone. You're a good person, you go to work, they don't care about you. They don't care about you. But if you're a bad person and you want drugs, they'll get it for you. If you want a prostitute, they'll get it for you. If they think you're rich enough they can scare me out of something, they probably do that too. But you're a normal Joe Schmo. They leave you alone. They leave you the hell alone. They don't touch you. But a gay club coming up here from Florida, running this big scam and embezzling over $300,000 and doing a big drug shipment out of this area, when that is the way they make their money, they're going to be mad. And that has nothing to do with me. They used me as a pawn. I have been trying to warn them what people say around me before it happened. Because not knowing what's real and what's not, what people say around me. So you just tell them everything that you heard and let them figure it out. No, yeah. People were complaining mentors. None of this is funny. I found out people were getting killed over this. Where would I find any of this funny? I asked the FBI for help. That agent out of his area, he didn't even have jurisdiction. Picking up my case, terrorizing me, selling the login to the protected custody case, stealing the witness protection program money that was meant for me to put it in his pocket to pay off his prostitutes and his drug deals, and then selling the protected custody case and run it like a serial killer and let those stupid gay drug dealers break in and drug me up. Huh? Do you think I think that's funny? Do you think I think it's funny all the times of my life? Do you think I think it's funny that Alec or Alex, now that is either Judge Pete's kid or Will's son, spit image of Judge Pete, 12/21/18, literally tried to kill me in a protected custody case, and admits it in front of people that he was part of that kidnapping, and where they bashed me in the back of the head, and left me for dead in protected custody. On 12/21/18, there's actually a video of it in a protected custody case. Do you think I think it's funny that I got tortured between July and September 19 when I tried to help a lady that her husband died there? By 3 men. Do you think I think it's funny? Do you think I think any of this is funny? And that they stole all the money from the case and paid for drug deals? Do you think the people down in Florida think it's funny they're getting shot up? What did they expect would happen doing a major drug deal in another mafia area? I have nothing to do with the mafia, nor would I condone anything anybody does anything bad to anybody. I don't have it in me to hurt anybody. I have just been a pawn of these people fighting back and forth. And where on God's green earth did anybody find any of this funny? I have just been a pawn. That's where that guy said they realized that you didn't know that agent was using this case to pay off those drug dealers and order a new shipment. And then they were saying, I bet. No, I would be mad. Because do you realize they order the drugs and then like filter through their drug dealers? At least I think that's the way it should work. I don't know. I don't have dealings with people like that. Like they said, Karen's the victim of an occulted director and tried to kill her before. And these people are the ones that the drug dealers pay them to drive around me and harass me. They're either prostitutes, drug dealers, or drug addicts. Do I find them funny? No. Am I in trouble for any of this? No. What part of victim do they not understand? And do you realize they're costing people their lives by their stupidity? Because I would never condone violence. I would never even be part of it. I let these bastards go after me and harm me to try to save my children and keep it on. I can take abuse, but I could never hurt anybody. I know what it's like to be hurt. I needed the money to start over. That's what it was for. And they stole it and gave it to male prostitutes. Some guys were complaining last Monday. So was my client. That ass actually stole the money from the cases and gave it to male prostitutes. Is that what's going on? He said, yeah, I heard what they did to her. None of this is funny. Do we even got anybody to take care of this? And they've